Another clientele exclusive. Girl, you're killing me.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of Life and Love Conversations with Lady A. Today, I have A-Klyntel, the band out of Seattle, Washington, with me, and I'm excited to talk to them, to talk about life before COVID and after COVID, and the love that they share and spread through music and their artistry, individually and collectively. Welcome, Christina, Derek, Marvin, and Todd. You can unmute your phones. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm really glad to, you know what, and I'm sorry that I haven't seen you, but being an artist myself, you know how it is.
Yeah.
I'm busy when you're busy. Who wants to tell me a little bit about A-Klyntel?
Go ahead.
Todd.
Okay.
Todd and Chris. Guys, go ahead.
Hey.
Well, Derek is our wonderful founder of A-Klyntel, so take the lead, Dee.
Yeah.
Derek.
And quiet. Go ahead.
Voted onto the island.
So we had clientele, believe it or not, years ago. We were a quintet. We tried to be like New Edition. That's when it's about 170 pounds back then, 150 pounds. I was moving and dancing, and then took a hiatus, had kids, got married, and I went. Actually, Columbia City Theater had an open mic, and a friend of ours from the family invited us out and said he should come out and play, sit with the band and jam. And I played with the band for a while, sat in, did their open mics, and decided that I wanted to start the band back up and do original music. And found some really dope musicians, and we started off as a fusion instrumental band, and we were doing our thing. We came out with some really good music. Marv has been with us since the beginning, music director. And then we decided, man, it'd be nice to have some vocals. And I ran into my cousin Todd, my blood cousin, not my play cousin. And we've always done music. Todd has always been. He sang with Hammer, worked with Motown Records, around Michael Walden, Ben Ross, a lot of people. And it was just a natural fit because we knew each other. He produces, I write. He writes as well. Christina writes, and we started singing. And then Christina, believe it or not, hired us. And we did a little.
It was the band.
Yeah, I was in the event planning.
A little teriyaki joint. It was a little teriyaki joint. I'm like, I was like, okay, or it was Thai or something.
It was a series that I was attempting to throw a series of events where it was jazz and great food, and so I looked.
She paid us in spring rolls.
Not pay you. It's spring rolls.
Right.
However,
was it in Kent?
It was in Renton, actually.
In Renton, okay.
Renton, okay. Kent, right? It's the border of Renton, Kent, near Saigon Ponds. So
exactly. Okay, yeah. I've seen y'all before.
Oh, really?
I remember over there.
That's such a small world. So yeah, lo and behold, at the end of one of the gigs or the events, because I hired them, I think, on a couple of occasions, and it was just a great fit. Again, professional, and everybody showed up on time. Great musicianship. And and at the end we were just goofing around on the mics, and they turned around and said, "You could sing all this time, and you never said anything to us." Yeah, the rest is history. And so I was able to.
Keep playing that, y'all. Don't fall for that. Keep
I'm not that strategic.
Tell me this. So, Christina, you write and sing. So you're the lead vocalist.
I'm one of the leads. Both Todd and I do lead. Mm-hmm.
And you write music yourself.
Yes.
Your music. And then, Derek, what instrument do you play?
So I have percussion, congas, timbales. I've been playing percussion probably for about 30, 40 years. I started off with the Filipino Youth Activities drill team.
Yeah.
That was so for those who are from Seattle, there was a Drillerines and the
I remember
FYA, the Chinese drill team.
Yes.
and we used to march in all the parades. And I learned, I just fell in love with playing, and singing was natural.
Love it. Todd, what instrument do you play?
I play the keys. I love playing the keys, and I could play a little bit of drums, but my main instrument is keys, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
I play the spoons, ham bone.
Spoons. Take you on a blues trip with me. Marvin, what about you? What instrument do you play?
The ukulele. No, I play the bass.
Oh,
I mainly play bass.
Like, wait a minute.
Okay. I know, huh? mainly bass, and then there's guitar and drums and all those things too. So
yeah. So, and how long have you all been together?
Let's see. I got out, and I'm just kidding. We've been together for about 11 years?
Yeah, because I've been with you guys for going on 9 now. So
wow. You know, and that's unheard of. That's really, that's a great thing, because I had the same band for 17 years.
Awesome.
And until my bass player passed away. And it is an amazing, you guys know Gary Smith?
Yeah, I remember Gary.
Oh yeah, I remember Gary. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my bass player.
Oh, cool.
Blues funk band.
And
it's an amazing thing to have a band that stays together more than 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, most bands can't say that. Most people can't say that they've been together, because you become a family.
Yeah.
Truly, in every sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Christina, keep them in line. I know you're the mama bear.
I try, but they are my big brothers, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So they keep me in line too, all the way.
So tell me a little bit about, the reason why I'm doing this is to talk about life and talk about how we love after everything that is going on. So tell me a little bit, somebody tell me a little bit about your life, how things were before COVID. Who can tell me that? You know, where you had gigs, what were you doing?
Christina, this would be good for you, because you were in the medical field for such a long time. So give them a little bit about that transition for you.
Yeah, before the COVID happened.
I think just realizing how selfless the medical professionals are, in that it was busy before COVID, but now it is furthermore like extremely busy, and people are putting themselves out there. I guess prior to, you know, I think you kind of get in a bit of a routine, and you realize that, you know, patients' needs are so vast, right? And you have so many different caregivers in place. And then after COVID, when you start limiting your resources and you realize that you can't even get the bare necessities that you normally have at your disposal. So those realizations are big for me, that I can't even make sure that my family has hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes, and masks. Right. Those things that we just took for granted in our everyday, you know, just churning patients after patients after patients. And so that was a big realization for me.
We were actually booked. I was booking us through 2021. And I was taking deposits. We had a nice amount of deposits. And fortunately, you know, you don't touch that money, you leave it, because I had to refund back thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And I remember I was almost going to book, and I still have to. Fortunately, one of these, we've got a gig we're doing, believe it or not, in Montana.
No,
you know, some people are rescheduling, but we don't know when they're rescheduling. So some people needed the money back, and some people are like, just hold it until we do it. So right now we've only got 2 gigs. We went from having probably about 12 solid gigs and booking into 2021 to just 2. And even with those 2, it's kind of like, all right, is it really gonna happen? We'll see. So we haven't rehearsed, and I was in the hospital.
How long has it been?
Well, so for one, I just got out of the hospital.
Oh my God!
I was admitted 2.5 weeks ago. I was here 3 days. I had pneumonia. I'm recovered now. Sepsis. They think I may have had it,
or related to something else.
Well, they think I might have had it back in February, maybe even earlier.
And didn't really recover?
Yeah, it was. I'm good now. I went to the pulmonologist,
Oh, thank God.
checked my lungs. They did the X-ray.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get my white blood count checked, but they want me to walk around and I walked
Right.
about a mile and a half the other day. So this COVID stuff is no joke, and I'm an asthmatic, so I'm high risk. So anytime I go out, I got my mask. It's scary, and I didn't even know I had a fever, which was crazy.
God.
Yeah.
So they were treating me just like the movies you see pandemic. They have their mask on, their nuclear gear. Nobody wanted
To touch you.
yeah,
Right.
and to take my mask off. It was crazy.
And the
my wife
hospital
was
experience, Derek, for you was really like a lonely hospital experience, wasn't it?
super lonely because you're just there, and you're like, I mean, nobody can see you. I mean, they couldn't. My wife couldn't see me. It was like, man, is this stuff? And I didn't know. And the crazy part is these tests, they're only 48% accurate. So just because it took my test and it came back negative, think about it. I had 101.5 degree fever. I had the chills. I was shivering like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, but doing that.
Oh, Lord.
I was super fatigued.
Yeah.
Right.
You had all the
And I couldn't
symptoms.
breathe. I couldn't breathe. My asthma was, I'm like, something was wrong. And it came back negative out of the blue. No.
I am glad that you were getting the support that you did.
Yeah.
There are some people out here that have stories that they're not getting the support.
Yeah.
They're going to the hospitals, they're alone. Some people have died in the hospital.
Yeah.
Because they're not
Those
getting
staff.
the support that they need. And I don't blame the hospital staff so much because they're doing the best that they can. I really do believe that.
Right.
You're in the medical field, Christina. I'm going to get to Todd and Marvin here in a minute, but I want to go back to this. I didn't know that you had been in the hospital, Derek.
Yeah.
And this is good for people to know. This is what we're saying. We want to give some, that's a positive story. I'm so glad that you're out.
Well, and I'm fortunate because I have a 9-to-5 that has great benefits. And Lady A, you know this as well as I do. How many people do we know that are musicians that do this for a living and got no health benefits? And then not only are you missing work because there are no gigs and you get sick, it's not cool.
Right. Because I have a 9-to-5. You know, I'm blessed to have a 9-to-5. I'm a musician too, but you know, that money, and we're going to come back to this. I want to talk about them deposits.
Yeah.
we need to talk about them deposits. Christina, I want to ask you, you're in the medical field.
Correct. Yes.
Correct. So are you finding that, and I'm just going to be honest, and this is a safe space for y'all to talk.
Yeah.
Are you afraid when you go to work?
Well, currently, no, because I just transitioned right at the brink of kind of all of this. And when I transitioned to medical devices, which allowed me to work from home, but left my child in the medical industry in the same company that I transitioned from, in fact. So that was my fear, is that my daughter was going in to the front line, serving people at that front desk as an 18-year-old child, you know. She's not provided PPE every day. And I'm not saying this to speak negatively on anything, but there's a shortage and it's a serious matter. And so they're given one mask. They're told to, you know, wipe down things. Infection control practices are being applied everywhere. It's just, what do you do when you run out of stuff? You can't send everybody home. You need staff to run. Yeah, so that was the reality for me. And then fortunately, they started to downsize and right-size staff accordingly. She was able to come home, but that was just for me. And I know that others aren't nurses especially are out there and fighting the good fight. So, yeah.
All our frontline workers, we thank you. We love you. God bless you. Here's a hug, because I work for the city and I know that I have a little survivor's guilt because I do get to work from home, but my guys that are on my team are still out there working. Marvin, tell me a little bit about how you're doing during this transition of COVID.
You know, I'm doing quite well actually, because not right before it happened, but recently, before it happened, I started checking myself and my spirituality, because and since this has happened, it's really given me a lot of time to think about me as far as my relationship spiritually, you know, and
Good.
balancing it, and I got a good soul. I'm a good soul. You know, I know that already, and people around me know that. But I really wanted to check myself and my spirituality, and make sure that I'm comfortable with that. You know, with everything that I go through and the people I deal with, I just want to make sure, because if you stay, to me, spiritually in there, you're gonna be all right as far as how you treat people, because it's gonna guide you.
Right. So yeah,
But
this is giving you an opportunity to get a little closer to God and
yes,
to check yourself.
right.
Yeah.
And Marv is a humble person. Marv, you need to tell him what you do every day.
What do
Oh,
you
yeah.
do every day, Marvin?
I transport nuclear medicine to hospitals to diagnose cancer.
Oh, bless you. And
Yeah.
you're doing
So
this every day.
yeah, I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I used to get off work around 12 or 1, but in and out of hospitals with masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
And I'm
thank
sure
you.
those patients thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And those
Yeah.
hospital workers thank you. Todd, how's
Yes.
life for you during COVID?
You know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Just as you were saying earlier, you know, very few people are able to work a period, you know, within millions of people, you know, 30, 40 million people losing their jobs. I'm just blessed to have my job and to be able to work from home. And, you know, I have 2 teenagers in the house. So,
Woo, God
um,
bless you.
and it's just an all around blessing to be able to, you know, like Marvin was saying earlier, like reflect on your family and reflect on the things that you do have. And you sometimes, I think, and this is just me, and I think a lot of other people may think this too, but I think all this is happening for a reason. And
Mhm.
I think that, you know, God slowed everybody down
Yeah.
to say, look at yourself, look at your life, take time to be by yourself.
Right.
But I'm blessed, lady. I'm just blessed. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. You know, as musicians, you know, all of us have jobs that are on here right now, and work in the music industry.
Mhm.
I am so I think about musicians who do this 24/7, and like you said,
Mhm.
Derek, don't have the health benefits, aren't, you know, as blessed as we are to have this. Um, I even have to reflect on the fact that I was taking for granted the gigs that I got because I had so many that they
Yep.
actually supplemented my income. And
Yeah.
now I'm starting to feel that crunch.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Right now I'm
Oh,
starting
man.
to feel it. But then Marvin, like you said, I'm blessed. Look, as long as I got food in my refrigerator and a roof over my head and I'm able to pay my rent, I'm still blessed. I'm still here. So I can't complain about them gigs I lost and that money that's
Yeah.
not coming in
Right.
anymore,
Yeah.
because at least I still got some. There's people who don't. So let's go back and talk about those deposits. Because, because I have deposits of upcoming weddings,
Yeah.
upcoming,
Us too.
private events. I do a lot
Yeah.
of private events, and just got an email from 2 of them. I'm waiting for the others to come in.
Uh-huh.
But when it first started, I did tell people I will give you your deposit back.
Right.
And they said, no, hold on to it because we're still going to have the event.
Right.
But,
Yep.
because they're not till August.
Right.
So how are you feeling? Because I do have an event coming up in August. And I sent an email to my band and said, how do you feel about this? Because that's the end of summer. Well, you know, for us in Seattle, end of summer really is September. You know, we tend to get a little sunshine. But are you afraid? And this is for everybody. Well, first of all, with the deposits, I like the fact that you said that you will give them back.
Right.
It's the right thing to
It's
do.
the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. Right. I wish the airlines would do the right thing, but we will.
Yeah.
That's another subject for another show.
Yeah.
Because I had some airline tickets too. I had some tours that were, 2 tours that were canceled. I think it is the right thing to do to give back.
I
to
agree.
people who
It's a business.
invested in you, don't you think?
It's a business. I mean, the bottom line is that we pride ourselves. I've been in sales and marketing for 20, 30 years. So I run clientele as a business, and we all contribute something different. We were going to get together for a live, not a concert, but just a live, getting together and play live, and Marv was not for it. And for good reason, and neither was Todd. And I was still sick, but I had so much cabin fever. I was like, well, I can stay 6 feet away. Well, we couldn't stay 6 feet away. No, that's not, no way.
My house isn't that big.
So, it wasn't that big. And I had to reflect, like, my wife was mad, like, you're tripping. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. So now we are getting together next week because we got to get together for this rehearsal or for this wedding we got coming up for the July weekend in Montana. And I want to book
really?
the tickets, but I'm like, all right. She says it's a go. But and that's her money. Once I book it, if it's canceled, the airlines, that's her money. And I'm like, but I what do you do?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in a Class A RV right now. That's where I'm at. So I'm driving the RV down there, but I got to fly these guys out.
Right.
So running it as a business, your name is your reputation. And then being in Seattle, it's so small. Everyone knows. And
Exactly.
if they ask about you, and one thing you don't want to do is mess around with people's money. And that's
Right.
not.
So are they made? So I guess my question, well, so before I even tell you about that, Christina, how are you feeling about flying out to a gig in July?
I'm a little conflicted because July's right around the corner,
Yeah.
and I thought by now we'd be back and up and running, and that everything would be kind of lifted by about, I was hoping sooner than later. So, but at the same time, I'm very, very cautious. Anywhere I go, I will bring 4 or 5 masks
You're
with me.
right.
I will have a dozen. They know how I am. I'm such a germaphobe as it is.
And
Yeah.
there's a reason why I didn't book the tickets yet, because I was going to ask the man. So I've got a 36-foot mothership that I'm in. It's basically a house on wheels.
Okay.
We may just drive
Mm-hmm.
and just have everybody just drive, just all of us. It'll be a nice drive. Marv and Todd, I don't know if they can get out their second job. They dance on the side, but they do it virtually.
They dance, huh?
So
First, y'all got to know is below
Can I get that address?
their skin line is a bottle of VSOP. So don't fall for what he's talking about.
but seriously, and that's one of the reasons why I have not booked or have not booked it. It's number one, it's her money. I would just hate. I don't want to come out of $1,200.
Right. No,
Number one, and then I got to talk to the band. I emailed everybody, and I got everybody's. I'm like, hey, listen, give me your name that's on your license, so I can book. I haven't booked it yet because as I'm thinking and I'm talking to my wife, and I'm like, maybe it is best that we just drive. We already have an Airbnb. We already know who each other are, so maybe we'll probably just do that.
So,
And you think about Montana, right? If you've been watching a lot of the news and all the briefings, Montana is categorized as a very distant state where it's not like a New York City, right?
Right.
Not like California. It's not like Seattle.
Right.
Seattle has a lot of less cases than a lot of the major cities in the U.S., a lot of the major states. But Montana is considered like we're opening back up because we didn't get any cases.
Right.
So think about that, right? They more than likely will do this wedding. More than likely they're gonna do it. It's just a matter of if we can.
It's a wedding.
It's a wedding.
So it's indoors.
Well, yes. It's at a ski resort. The majority of our gigs we do are private events where we do our original music. They don't know.
Right.
We just throw it in.
Right.
Because that's where the money's at. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that is where the money is.
Yeah, and it's a wedding, and it's a lot of people flying in from all over the country.
So I have a wedding, but it's not till September. Right. So I haven't even gone there yet. She hasn't canceled. She said just wait. So I'm waiting. But the gig that I have to do,
that's way down the line. That's a lot better than
you say it's way down the line, but here we are in May.
It's still indoors. So I have a thing. I have asthma. I'm asthmatic. So the gig that we're doing at the end of August, they sent us all these parameters, which I thought was very responsible of them. They said we are going, and it's for a bunch of doctors. So I kind of I kind of feel good, but I'm still cautious because you know, Derek, as a band leader, you're responsible for your people, for your band, for your band members. That's they're not just band members; they're family members.
Right.
You know, they're people you love, they're people you work with all the time. So you know, and I sent my band an email, and they're all like, "Yeah, but okay, so they're not going to allow dancing."
Oh.
Dance floor in front of us. Yeah, this is a gig that I've done for years, and they always call back. So they're not going to allow dancing in front of us. They're going to have people dance at their tables if they want to dance.
Got it.
And which is away from us.
Right.
So I think that's responsible. I'm not scared, but am I cautious?
Right.
Yeah. I'm still thinking, you know,
you just have to take precautions.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Right. That's
you
a
know
whole
what
different.
I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm on the board for the Kent Chamber. I'm on the board for the Kent Downtown Partnership.
Yeah.
And they're planning a Cajun Fest.
Woo.
And they're talking about down here in Kent, and they're thinking of ways to kind of do it like ITZY, or the you know, they got their virtual wine walks and stuff. So people are being creative. I don't think we're ever going back to the new normal. And the fact that you just said that, I think I never even thought about it like that. That might be some information that I might want to pass on to her.
You might want to pass that on to her.
Yeah.
Like I said, these are doctors they put this on every year.
Right.
And I thought it was the responsible thing to do because you get in close quarters when you're dancing.
Yeah.
But if you're dancing at your table and it's just you and whoever's at your table, I can get with that. I feel a little better about that.
Yeah.
The wedding that we have to do, I'm a little concerned because it's inside. That's close quarters for me.
That's true. And you can't sing with a mask on.
I can't sing with a mask on. I'm asthmatic.
Yeah, exactly. And those N95 masks, I can't do it.
And well, I have my own mask. You know, I ordered a mask. You know, I'm a diva.
Yeah, I got one too. I got to be able to breathe.
I got a Lady A mask. You know,
That's how you do it.
I appreciate y'all so much, but I want to play a little game with you before we leave, and it's called I Am Not Coming Out of Quarantine Until you name an artist and a song. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. I am not coming out of quarantine until the average white man cuts the cake. Another example. I'm not coming out of quarantine until Ashford and Simpson find a cure. Now you have to know your artist and you have to know the song. Okay, you get it? You got it?
I get it.
All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Christina.
I'm not coming out of quarantine until Alicia Keys brings back The Underdog.
Oh, like that. Haven't heard that one yet. Anybody else?
Yeah. I'm not coming out of quarantine until Kool in the Gang gets down on it.
Woo, good one.
Good one. Derek?
I'm not coming out of quarantine until these young artists start writing real music.
No lack of humor ever in this band, ever.
Okay. Todd, you got one?
I just drew a blank, but I'll make something up.
Good man. Hey, it's just a game. It's a music game.
Until my hair grows back.
Oh, uh-oh.
I'll say I'm not coming out of quarantine until Lady A sings a song down at SMT.
Look, I'm gonna tell you what I tell them when they ask me to sing. I get paid to sing.
That's right.
Yes, get that money.
Here's my Venmo.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
I appreciate y'all so much.
Absolutely.
I am sending you blessings and love. Here's a hug for each one of you. I really appreciate you being on. As I said, love and life, we have to move on with life, and there's a new way to do everything. let's pass on some blessings to somebody else. Each one of you, if you can just say something just to inspire somebody, and then I'm gonna let you go. Christina, we're gonna start with you.
Yes, just continue to keep your loved ones close to you and love on them.
Thank you. Derek?
If you're a musician or an artist, keep doing what you do. Don't let anybody tell you. If you have a dream and a focus, just stick with it.
Thank
Take
you.
this COVID so serious.
Marvin?
Yeah, you be thankful for everything you have. A couple of nights ago, I was waking up out of my sleep with these words, and I use them all the time. And it says, "Thank you, God, for all things."
Amen. Yes. Todd?
Just some word of wisdom for everybody is check on your family members, check on the elders in your family, and ask them if they need anything. And just make a call to somebody that you haven't talked to in a long time and just say hello and tell them you love them.
All right. And from me to each one and every one of you, my motto is be blessed and be a blessing. Thank you so much. This is Lady A signing off Life and Love Conversations with your girl, Lady A. Bye-bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
You and me in between.